restoration to the Second Powers podcast, where we're living life with no walls. Today, you will be hearing the teachings of our spiritual guide, Regina L. STILLMAN. If you'd like to learn more about the fellowship, check out our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/restoration2. Also, if you'd like to make a donation, go to Givelify.com and look for us at Restoration 2 or Cash App us at $R2Power. Now, everybody, throw your twos up and let's get lifted. Ho!
We're talking about the comparative study between salvation and genetic editing. And the idea, again, that I'm moving and wanting in our spiritual thought, as a spiritual thought leader, I want you to move your thoughts forward, because there's so much deeper that we can have in God, more than what we talk about and teach in our churches. I mean, there's so much more. And you know, if you have ever been like me, sometimes you can get to that point where you hear the same thing over and over and over again, and after a while it just almost gets on your nerves. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Amen. Or sometimes it's just, you know, the ideas are so archaic. I had some family members and loved ones. Y'all saw somebody Sister Lynette was in the hospital earlier this week, but we praise God. She was here. Amen. Somebody posted some nasty stuff and told me to sit myself down in not so kind words. And some of you here in the room and friends and loved ones were lit up and angry. But I get that all of the time. And somebody was like, I can't believe you didn't take that down. I said, part of my reason for leaving it up was I want people to understand that archaic mindset is still out there. And it was really coming from the standpoint of gender of the individual's question. I think it was a female, but I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, she wanted to tell me that I was trying to be a he, she, and that I need to sit myself down trying to do a man's job. So, internet emboldens folks where they feel like, and I don't know this woman, I really don't. They feel like they can go hard in the paint and just talk crazy to you. But at the end of the day, it didn't bother me, number one, because I've already had that experience for so many years. After a while, you become numb to that. That doesn't faze me at all. And I know who I am. That's right. You can say whatever you want to say. Right. At the end of the day, I know who I am, so I'm not tripping. Now, my friends and family was offended, But I want you to know there's still that mindset of people that are still back in some way back deep recesses of the mind. And it's like, are you kidding me? Right. And they really believe this stuff. So my thought here is that I want to make sure, as we're coming into another concept of salvation, let's just recap some things real quickly, and then I really want you all to give me input, because I want to put some things out there. So we've dealt with the idea, we're not talking about I've been washed and covered in the blood and an external covering. We've now moved it to technology that has taught us we can actually totally eradicate disease. Totally. And while I was up this morning, I saw where they've come up with a new cancer detection here in the last month or so, that any tumors and cancer in the body, it has the ability to identify and detect it, and it lights up, and just all kind of technology. So when I see those types of things, I'm like, and how does that technology affect us and impact us today? Because if technology is moving on in the earth, why is the church still back in the...
Say that. Right. Say that.
So my concept again, as I begin to understand genetic editing, if they can take a disease and particularly what they've done extensively is sickle cell, and their success rate is very, very high, which I don't know about you, but I'm excited about that. So the disease of sickle cell and other blood disorders, they've found a way to take whatever is incorrect in the editing or in the gene itself and to edit it correctly. So that then they put it on mutated HIV virus and allow it to totally consume your entire body until the disease of the sickle cell is completely eradicated.
Amen.
So my point again is this.
Does that give you HIV?
No, they take the HIV because that's been edited as well. And while we're on that, I've heard recently that they've come with the cure. Oh yeah. And these are people that, I mean, they were like worst case.
I don't have HIV, I have sickle cell. I've been way down since you said that.
Oh yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And there's some things, and that's why I want to kind of recap it today, because I'm like, it is so cheap to do. They edit it in what's called CRISPR-8. It's so cheap to do. It looks like, and I watched the whole process, they had 2 black females who, and I want you to listen to me because I'm going to go someplace as to what our conversation of topic is going to be about today, because I want us to see how even after the disease is eradicated, a lot of times the problem is you still have memory. Even after the disease is eradicated, you still have memory. Now chew on that, because that's what we're going to talk about. So they take, and it looks like once they've taken the cell and corrected it, it looks like a little IV drip, and it looks like water. And another reason why I really want to talk about it is because we as a people need to really put these pharmaceutical companies to task as to why they're not releasing this to the general public, because these are all people on clinical trials. So I'm like, now you've got a series of people now, not only in the United States, but in other countries that, I mean, they are radically cured from this process. Why do we still have people suffering with something that, and why did I want to interject the cost factor? Because we all the time we talk about Jesus paid it all. It don't cost you a thing.
All right.
You hear me?
Amen.
We're talking about something that is viably costless. And so I see that first parallel. Number 2, salvation. Number 2, you don't do anything but just accept it.
That's right. That's right.
You lay down. They had to agree to be a person used for the clinical trial. They lay down in the bed. They get the IV hooked into their arm. They lay there and get healed while the genetic edited version does the work.
Right.
Now that's salvation, y'all.
That's right.
I'm here to tell you. That's salvation. Why is that happy to me? Because I came from a background where they taught works for your salvation.
That's right.
Now, I don't care how much you say, you know, Jesus paid it all. You know, we sing all of that. Then when you get finished, you get 10,000 sermons on works. Am I talking to anybody?
That's right. Amen.
At the end of the day, your righteousness is still going to be as filthy rags. And it's by grace are you saved, not of works, lest any man should boast. If I could say I did it, I'd be, hey, look what I did. No. All I did was say, I got the disease. I'm a candidate that's willing to receive the cure. Are y'all with me?
Yeah. Right.
And once I actually say I yield, and that's the other part, you got to yield. How many times have people taken medication for something and they don't get well because they're fighting the medication? Right. Have you ever seen that? Oh, that's a word. I'm preaching real hard right now. They don't get the benefit of the medication because they're fighting the medication. And so that's another parallel. Again, when I said salvation, and we do have the ability, and I'm really going to stand flat-footedly here. We do have the ability to begin to say and believe with full confidence, I can live free from sin, because listen, that process is already eradicating all of the disease in my body. The sin disease in my mind, in my emotions. All I got to do is allow the process. And as I said, okay, so they start the process, and it may take several days to months to complete the entire process before their whole body is eradicated. But once it's introduced and you start the process, the work is started. It just needs the time to replicate. Are you with me? Yeah. And so then we start talking about salvation. She don't look saved. He don't look saved. Da, 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 da. Listen, once I accepted the cure, are y'all hearing me? Yes. Once I've accepted the cure and the cure has been introduced into my system, all I need to do is give it the time. All I need to do is give it the will and to let it do what it does and let it take over, and it's going to eradicate the sin, and I don't have to work to do that. Yes. I don't have to fight the devil. I'm going to lose some folk right there for all the devil fighters. Dun, 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 dun. We got Wonder Woman, we got Ghostbusters, we got everything. Listen, Jesus paid the price and his blood. Again, I said, we talk about all of this from the outside, covered with, but covered is external. And this is the thing I'm trying to get us to understand. You always get a bigger impact dealing with something from the inside out than from the outside in.
That's right.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
Once you've introduced it into my system, and I have been infused with that, it then has the ability to transform everything. And that's why the covered by the blood has so much you got to do the work. Because like I said last week, your foot can get out from under it. Your leg get out, your whole body. So I'm constantly in this work of trying to keep myself covered, my mind covered, all of these things covered by the blood. When if I just really let the blood get in me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amen.
And let the blood do the work. Am I talking to anybody here? That's salvation. That's salvation right there. And so when I get finished with all of those different things, I can't pay for it. It doesn't cost a thing. All I have to do is yield to it and receive it. Be a candidate, said, I'm willing to take it. I'm willing. And from our standpoint, it really almost seems like a risk. You know what I'm saying? It almost seems like, do I really want to take the risk of believing that God can really, that he can really, really, really? Okay, so when we get all of those different parallels and comparisons put together and you see the idea of salvation, then why do we still have people struggling? Number one, we dealt with the idea of time. How long it actually takes to go through the process of full regeneration. Be transformed how? By the renewing of your mind. And that's where the problem is the mind. So I want to go into one young lady who actually gave a testimonial after 3 years of being completely sickle cell free. Now I want y'all to hear me because this is what I want to talk about. So in our interactive, this is what I want feedback from you. So she said this in her testimony. And she wasn't testifying. They were just doing a documentary, but I call it testimony. She said, all my life, when I ran or physically exerted myself, my only association was go to the hospital, massive pain, because I'm in crisis. Now, Monica can probably identify with that. That's all I knew my whole life. If I exerted too much energy, if I got up and I tried to run, she said, all I remember was excruciating pain and I'm back in the hospital for X number of days. So, after 3 years, sickle cell free, she said, I still can't run. Not because she's not healed, but her memory. She's trained.
From that procedure you're talking about?
Yes. She has nothing in her body. Wow. And this is what I'm trying to get to. When we start talking about sin free and sin cure.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. Even though I'm not, it's not free from my body. It literally is from my body. She can attest to, I don't take no medication. You can't give me none, I won't take none. But what I will do if it get overwhelming, I will go to sleep. Because once I'm asleep, I'm in a state of unconsciousness and I can't feel nobody. I don't know how to do it. Literally, I have no clue how I do it because when I'm woke, I am total pain. But I say, I'm done. And I turn around and go, I don't know how to go to sleep. Because I don't even go to sleep regularly.
And so if I can build on that, because I want y'all to hear what she said. What she said was powerful.
I refuse to take medicine. They will not give me, because I'm already that spirit that will, if I take it, I'm that dominant personality. If I take it, that's what I'm going to want. If it's morphine, I'm going to want more. I refuse to do that. I refuse to deal in the mindset of it's dis-ease, like you say.
It's disease. It's disease. It's disease.
This literally is, I don't say it's something that is a disease in my body. It's, what do I tell you all the time? It's just something that makes me uneasy. It doesn't have to be my bad place. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that every now and then gets me down.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it's for the world to say, oh, what was me? No, it's for me to say, absolutely not. This was not. I refuse. And I'm 44 years old, and they told me I would never have kids, live after 16, the whole night.
Now, I appreciate it. Come on, y'all give some love, because I mean, that's living witness to exactly what I'm trying to say. Everybody say the mind of the spirit.
The mind of the spirit.
That is a real thing. Now, that's not something that we teach. Even in our religious gatherings, we don't talk about the mind of the spirit. We do everything, and the Bible already tells us, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down stronghold. What is carnal? It has nothing to do with the flesh. But what our weaponry is when we can tap into the mind of the spirit and go someplace that the mind of the carnal cannot go. It can take us into a place of healing. Come on, I want y'all to hear me. It can take us into a place of many different ways of living life, completely different from what in most people's mind, because why? They're in the carnal, they're in the flesh, they're coming even, and I'm telling y'all, I can't say this, I can't stress it enough, we even teach it from the pulpit right on down to the spiritual warfare. And I've said this before, if he's given angels charge over me, come on, chew on it. If you might choke for a second, but chew on, try to dissect it and chew it. If he's given his angels charge over me to keep me in all my ways, and if the angel of the Lord is encamped round about me, because I fear him, is that the scripture? If the angels encamped, come on, because we have spent years in warfare. I'm not. The mind of my spirit. Let me go here, because everybody can't go here. Everybody can't. You can, but everybody won't. So if I don't envision angels of the Lord encamped around me, if I don't envision in my mind of the spirit that he's given his angels charge, that means he told them, take care of her.
Yeah.
He told them, put her to sleep.
Yeah.
Supernaturally. She's not trying to think herself well. The angels have charge over, and in Psalms 4:8, I will both lay me down and sleep, for thou, O Lord, cause me to lie down in safety. Why am I safe? Because I got angels. The old folks said it like this, and they may not have fully understand what they were saying, but they told the truth. All night, all day, angels are watching. Now you tell me how I can do warfare better for myself than the angels that he's given charge over me can do for me.
Amen.
Right. There you go. Right.
Amen.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
But we fighting the good fight. And I said, any husband that won't take care of me, any spouse that won't take care of me, and I got to fight for myself, what am I here for?
Right.
And what are you here for? Y'all ain't buying what I'm saying. If I'm going to be by myself and I got to cover everything for myself, I might as well be.
Amen. By myself.
That's right.
But did he not say the Holy One of Israel, the Lord thy God, he's your husband? That's who you in the relationship. Am I there? Yeah. Then if I got to do all this for myself, what is he there for?
Right.
What king is not going to take care of his queen? Y'all ain't buying what I'm saying.
How about it? Yeah.
That's right. I got to go out and fight and fend for myself. But the Lord is my... the mind of the spirit. So what she was saying, to get back to this lady, she was healed. Her sickle cell was completely, totally, 100% eradicated. She really, and this is what she began to share, she really had to reprogram her mind that she could run without pain. I'm going to say that again. She had to reprogram her mind that she could run and be physically exerted without pain. And she said, the first time I did it, I was so scared I didn't know what to do. Why? Because that was her only association all those years. So what are you saying, Regina? I want us to understand, I'm telling you, you can have it completely eradicated, but when we see what looks like unregenerated living, sometimes it's not time. We already dealt with that. I'm not trying to deal with the time it takes in process. I want to deal today with the exact concept that sometimes it's strictly because we cannot forget the memory of the pain. And rather than move in confidence, because what's our topic for the series? I'm created for this. Rather than move in the confidence and the assurance of knowing who I am. What did I say? First chapter, heaven's talking to heaven. God's talking to the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. The only thing they can say is good.
Yeah.
If Jesus really reversed the curse and the blood has now eradicated all of this in me, so then when heaven talks about Regina, what does God see? It's good. Very good. She's successful. She's the head, not the tail. She's above only, and I always put that in there, only and not beneath. She's the lender and not the borrower. Y'all, come on, come on, come on. Every place the soles of my feet tread, I told you, the Lord told me this some time ago. He said, Regina, and it's not about being cocky. It's about coming into another place of understanding what he really has created me to be. And he said, every place your feet touch, I want you to say, this belongs to me.
Yeah.
This is mine. Wait a minute. Now I got to interject this for my babies, because we think the babies don't pay attention. John and them said they went home last wind. They started talking to the wind and said, wind, stop blowing.
That's all right.
Not my kite.
That's right.
You sure right.
That's right.
Then they said, they started turning around and saying, wind blow.
That's all right.
Sure right.
Why? Because they're serious about their dominion. And this is the thing I want you to understand. When you really start moving at that level, and that's why I said we got to, and I'm glad the babies are here. When they really start understanding it at that level, and they start saying, wind, stop blowing.
Yeah.
And now, wind, blow.
Oh, okay.
Then their classmates, their neighbors, what manner of children are these that the winds and the seas obey?
That's right.
Right.
Baby, when Johnny told me that, I was all over.
That's good.
And she said, and it did for a few seconds. That's all it needed. That's all she needed. She was good. See, there's a lesson right in there. Except you become as a little child. Because y'all say wind stop blowing, and the wind stops blowing for 5 seconds. Lord, I thought you was going to open. It did for 5 seconds. Y'all ain't mind what I'm saying. I'm saying, listen, if you can grab that 5 seconds that it obeyed and build on that.
Hey now.
That's right. That's right.
Build on that.
Amen.
Am I talking to anybody in here? But I do want to deal with this from another level as well. So, somebody on Facebook, a good friend of David's, and I've been trying to follow her. So I want to cover this from a couple of different angles. So she was just sharing how, and I didn't know, but she was pouring her heart out on Facebook, and she lost her child. The baby went to sleep next morning, didn't wake up. But her testimony today, she had a vivid dream just like she was reliving it all. She woke up at 7:07, which was the exact precise time that they said it happened some time ago. Now, mind you, so I'm still talking about memory. So everything in the past, we've been struggling, and all of a sudden things start clicking. The suicide, the attempted suicide, and that was her testimony even about David when she went through that phase where she had actually attempted suicide. He was there, would not leave her side. And so when I read that, I looked at it and I said, but today, her testimony was what before was so painful, today was comfort.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me? Process.
Yes.
So then it's like, in my mind, I'm still thinking about this whole process of the salvation and what goes on with that. And what it is when I can actually release my pain. Am I talking to anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Is it hard? Is it a journey? Is it?
Yes.
When you're laying there in pain, even though you know I'm taking the cure and it's being infused in my body, it doesn't mean that your pain immediately stops. Now, why am I emphasizing this point? Because so many times the people come in the door and they're still in pain, even though they've accepted the infusion.
Yes. Yes.
But are we sensitive to the people's pain? Do we think just because I'm preaching, Pastor Stillman, did you hear what she said? It's eradicated. Just because it's eradicated does not mean that everything is eliminated.
That's right.
In the process. Let me take it another place. And that blessed me so today when I read that. I was just like, yes. Because therein you can start the healing process. It's when you can't let go of the pain that is, I want to kill myself.
That's right.
And that's real stuff. That's real stuff. And I'm coming here because when people are coming in, we've got to be aware so that we can be conscious of the people's pain. And see how many people have walked back out the door that really came in seeking refuge for their soul, but because all I see is Pastor said that it's completely eradicated. Okay, but Pastor also is hopefully saying to you, there's a process that we've got to begin to embrace with people that they can walk their journey and not try to make them walk ours.
Yes. Right. Yes. Right.
Am I saying anything to anybody? A drug addict, a hardcore drug addict may come in, but do you think that just because they came in, they heard this word, they received it? Now I want you to hear what I'm saying. They received it. But I still see XYZ behavior. They received the word whether you see the manifestation of it or not. And that's why God didn't make you a judge.
That's right. That's right.
And they may still be walking the process. And this is what we've got to understand. Just because I received it today doesn't mean I forgot how it smelled, how it tasted. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. Am I talking to anybody? The Lord said, this is the phase of coming into another. Why? Because ultimately, is to be successful.
Yes.
To get to the fullness of all that they are.
Yes.
That sometimes may have been met with childhood, midlife, wherever in their journey where they were traumatized. That may be a matter of allowing all of that to be ministered to and dealt with as it's revealed. How many of you know some more about yourself today than you did 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Sin merely it's a term of archery that means to miss the mark. So if we understand that, this is where I want to go with that too, because I don't want you guys caught in shortchanging your lives and shortchanging your experience. Tell me, well, everybody gonna miss the mark. Listen, little boys and little girls miss the mark when they first are potty training, but after a while, I want you to hit that mark.
Amen. Clean up on that.
Sometimes they get real close to the toilet, but they don't quite make it. Hello? They get, y'all know something about it. You get right to the toilet, but you just don't quite make it. They start doing the... They really tickle. The I gotta go dance. And every now and again, you miss it. But as you mature, you hit the mark.
That's right.
Am I talking to anybody? So I want us to come to, but this is where I'm flipping back and forth, it may seem, but I'm really not. Because what I want us to understand is that what we can do in loving people, and that's the key right there, is let people be in process wherever they are and understand that it's a maturing process. We're still maturing.
Yes.
And that's so why I said I really want to open this up, because I want to hear from you guys. I want you all to give me some feedback. You may have had an experience and she already shared hers. You may have some further insight into what I'm saying, because I want us, when people feel the challenge, that's oftentimes when they go backwards, because we don't have the understanding of how to help them continue to come forward. Point closed for me here, and I want to hear your thoughts. If anything triggered in you as I was talking today, I want to hear it. But this is the thing. Remember the lady's inability to release recall of that pain. Completely healed. I'm not talking about still in process. 3 years healed, but still scared to run. Because memory, transforming of the mind, is still diseased. Diseased. Not just diseased, but diseased.
Love is what I tell her that I have. Love is what I don't have it.
There you go.
Love is what.
There you go. I dare you to create the fruit of your lips.
Amen.
There you go.
Amen.
I dare you to create a different reality in your world. While you're waiting on everybody else to, and see, y'all remember the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, one of the biggest pushes of the church, people are running from church to church because I want somebody to speak into my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Child, speak into your own life. Get into the mind of the spirit.
Yes.
And I really need you to see yourself whole. Everybody say, I am whole.
I am whole.
I'm not broke down. I'm not tore up.
I know that's right.
I'm not wanna be. I'm not gonna be. I am whole. And the power that you have when you understand, and so I'm done. I want you all, somebody's got something in your heart, in your spirit that you want to share, because I really want to hear other perspectives. But I really want us to begin to reframe how we teach this whole concept of salvation. Reframe this whole concept of how we're teaching salvation. Because listen, if I still got to go through being all broke down and tore up, what am I saved from?
Exactly.
But it's happening to us because that's the way we're teaching y'all.
Right.
That's the supposed to be gospel and glad tidings that we keep talking. And I'm going to tell you what the Lord told me, like I said, and I'm done. When I first started ministering, he said, no, you're not going to go out and preach what everybody else is preaching. He said, I want you to preach positive gospel for positive results.
Yes. Thank you.
I want you to preach a positive gospel for positive results. Because the reason why we keep getting negative results is because we keep preaching a negative gospel. It's not even good news. I want you to come out of the fog. The mind of the Spirit, which is the mind of Christ, which is the mind of the anointing. We have gotten, again, so dulled in our senses that we're walking around clueless, like, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know where you want me to go. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know where you want me to be. I'm just out here wandering like a wilderness child. And that's the whole church, including the pastor. And if the blind lead the blind, everybody's going to the ditch.
That's right.
everything that I'm going through, God didn't call me to go through it.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Choices. Some of us think you're speaking over your life. Some of it is inaction. Some of it is God actually saying, if I keep bucking up to you, will you finally... Or will you keep whimpering and cowering down? Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to cower down. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's going to take courage to walk what I'm talking. It took courage for her to get up and realize I can run a marathon and not get sick and have to go to the hospital because I'm having a crisis. No, I'm completely healed. There's no reason why I can't run this marathon. It takes courage to overcome my fear of my recall and believe that I'm really healed. Yeah. In spite of what my existence and experience has been all these years. And that's what I'm trying to get, because listen, church, because I don't want to say church. I know we are the church. I know that. But I'm reluctant to use terms like that because we automatically start going back into old mindsets. And we start going back teaching old theologies. We start going back and teaching old concepts of things that God's like, I never meant for you to be there anyway.
Amen.
Right. And can I tell you something about the old covenant? He gave us the old covenant first to show us that the old covenant couldn't work. I'm going to say it again. He said if the blood of bulls and goats could have done it, if the old covenant could have worked, but I let you see the old so you could understand it cannot get you to where you need to be. I've said this for years. I'm going to say it one more time and I'm out. Every good thing is not the God thing.
Amen.
The old covenant was good, but it was the plan of the Lord to redeem from the foundation of, are y'all with me?
Yes. Yeah.
To give us the opportunity for choice with our dominion. Where God's not making me do everything that I do. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he said, you name the animals. You name every living thing. You name all of that because I gave you dominion in the earth. And why we won't take our dominion in the earth is why we got problems in the earth. Because I'm waiting on God. Now, I'm stepping on all kind of toes right now. I know I am. Because that's what we have indoctrinated y'all. And don't dare stand up and start acting like you got dominion because then folk want to say, who do you think you are? But at the end of the day, they said, what manner of man is this?
Yeah.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Otherwise, we're going to continue to replicate the same thing over and over again. So at the end of the day, the mind of the spirit is really the only thing. When you start talking about a hard drug addict, us talking this mamby-pamby talk is not going to get them delivered.
That's right.
And that's why they keep coming back to our churches Sunday after Sunday, trying their best. I mean, y'all know some of them are really trying their best. And even in your, but by now, surely they would have learned, what are they doing? Da, 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 da. Listen, anytime that kind of thinking crosses your mind, I want you to go back to the woman with sickle cell that was scared to run. Because that's what it is. And yes, sir, go ahead.
I was going to say this.
You talking about a drug addict and the woman scared of a sickle cell. Imagine a religious fanatic, a 100% God church-going Christian, and you try to sit up and tell them that it's something different, that God is I am. And that same I am is who you are. And before you close your eyes, God is there. When you open your eyes, God is there. There's the spot that God is not. So you are that emanating spirit Before anything else, he blew his spirit into you and you became that living spirit.
Right.
Check this out. That moves with the universe.
Come on.
The tides and the oceans, the birds of the air, the clouds, all of that is who you are. That's who God is. And when God said, let us create man in our own image and let us worship. You know what we worshiped before they put evil on us? When they tried to teach us this Bible, saying that there was a devil, we would worship us. The food, the land, the air, the sun, the grass, the animals of the field. We worshiped them, meaning we loved them and they loved us because the fruits, the air, the sun, the berries, the leaves, the juice, they all nurture our bodies and keep us from disease.
Come on.
It's the other things you put in your mind and in your body that cause disease. So when you come out of disease, change what you put in your fuel tank.
Come on.
And it'll change the disease in your body, change the way you think. So you're talking about a hardcore crackhead. Let's talk about a hardcore church-going Christian that'll sit there and put you in hell because you got on flip-flops with your dress. For real. Let's talk about this. Therefore, let this mind of Christ be in you that was in Christ Jesus, meaning let my mind be enlightened like my Father's mind is enlightened. Allow me to see God in everyone and everyone is God. Allow me to know healing, that I am healing, and that healing is there. Allow me to be the universe. As opposed to sitting here and got to fight this so-called Satan every day.
Come on.
And I got to sit here and plead the blood every day.
Come on.
When I am
You preaching.
that I am. I can't be nothing else. See, God never was it.
Come on.
And God was never then, and God is. And all he can do is. All he can do is. God is. And you isn't, and you isn't. And where else could God be besides in us? We represent. We are his words spoke on this planet. We are his thoughts manifested in time. And those angels that we send out, our thoughts, our ancestors, when we speak those into existence, those words go out and create for us after their own kind, because that's their mission, and they come back to you and give you your answer.
Come on.
And we're all that one spiritual being. So to sit and to say, God, the devil is busy. Why is the devil busy? When this made up story. You are the Almighty. The words that emanate from you that flow through the universe have the same power. The stars and the moon create light. The sun creates light. And that life is who you are on this planet. When you connect with that in your mind and rethink everything that you do, every word that comes out of your mouth is life and power. There's your salvation. Learning what to speak and what to keep. Because whatever you come out of your mouth is going to produce after its own kind. Whatever you think is going to produce out of its own kind. The power of life and death is your tongue. God, I can't make it. God, I can't take no more. Well, that's what's getting ready to happen too. God, why is this devil taking? No, because you thinking that way, and all this is coming to you. You have to meditate and allow that Christ consciousness, this mind of Christ, to be in Christ Jesus, be in you or as you, or with a like mind. God, allow me to think as you think. Allow me to meditate as you meditate. God, allow me to be one as we are one, so that I can speak oneness with you. And it'll change your life. You won't have to fight every day. You'll just sit and wait on the word of the Lord. And believe me, he does talk.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And he will give you an answer.
He will do it.
All the time. And it ain't going to be thou shalt not. It ain't going to be none of that. You know, they ain't going to be none of that. He gonna call you by your name. James, I need for you to feed my children. if you take care of my babies, I'll forever take care of you. In other words, speak life to my children so that they can know me and know who they are in me and I in them. There's no one in this room who is separate and apart from the Spirit of the living God. You ain't got to do nothing extra. You ain't got to do nothing but go home and get on your knees or fall out on the floor and say, God, talk to me. I need to hear you.
Come on.
I love
Now
you
you talking.
so much. That's worse.
Yes, it is.
I need you, God. Please give me a different understanding of what's going on in my life. Who are you for real in me? And believe me, when he starts to show, he's going to melt down all that religion. Like in the Wizard, and not the Wizard of Oz, in the Oz. When Evil Lee got the water put on, everybody start melting that religion off of them. Yeah, Evil Lee. In the Oz, and they were singing, "Can you feel a brand new day?"
Come on.
Think about it.
Word.
I often come here, and we're out, but I often come here in my thinking. I always look at first thing, last thing. First thing, last thing. The last thing Jesus prayed before he was crucified. He said, Father, make them one as we are one. And the thing that made the Jews so angry was when he said, I am my Father. They almost lost their minds. And from that moment forward, they set their hearts to destroy him. And they still couldn't destroy him. But this is the thing I want us to understand. And so significance, first and last, is always so significant. If that's the last thing he prayed, that we and the Father be one, as they were one. And that's when we're talking about the mind of Christ. When you come into that place of understanding being one and flowing as one and not as divided. And operating divided is really what creates all of the chaos. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You can dress it up with religion. You can dress it up with scriptures. You can dress it up. And I was trying to be nice, but he just went straight for the jugular. He just called that religious spirit on out. And that's really the thing that's choking the earth out. But listen, this is the thing. When we all begin to have this oneness of mind and the oneness and get rid of the duality, then let me tell you, you're going to have a revelation of John. You're going to see a new heaven and a new. Oh. And there you go.
Inside of you,
and
nowhere else. Ain't no heaven up there.
Listen, that's where I'm going. I'm with you, man. I'm going back again to that point of understanding that everything that God is doing with power is always going to happen inside of you.
First,
we got to stop all of this out of body experience. I'm gonna say it again. We got to come out of all of this out of body. Everything that we're expecting in God is out of our body. He said, it's going on Chris, it's you.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's inside of you.
That's it. All of you.
Every last one. Right down to the babies.
They better, because they know.
Because let me tell you what.
They ain't been polluted.
If we, that's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what. If we would stop contaminating and polluting them, we would see miracle signs and wonders out of these babies. And when they're not polluted, and when they're going forth, he's going forth. When they're going, he's really going forth. You're going to see a different thing. You're going to see a different thing. Come on, say, Lord, it's a new thing. Now, I can't say it enough, and I'm out. Stop saying it's a new thing and then going back to the old. That's confusion in every evil word. And it's hard, but that's exactly why I wanted to stop today. I'm completely healed, but I'm still scared to run. Because I remember all of that back there. But that's not where I need to be. It's back there. Okay? And I need you to leave some of that faulty thinking back there. Leave it there.